Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited. Cessna Citation Longitude is approaching first flight. SpaceX has new lawn ornament. FAA allows North Shore helicopter routes to continue. Hello, I'm Christopher C. Odom. It's August 26, 2016, and this is Airborne Unlimited. The Cessna Citation Longitude moves closer to its first flight as initial ground engine tests on its Honeywell HTF7700L turbofan engines have been completed. This paves the way for the prototype aircraft to take its first flight in the coming weeks. The engine tests verified the functionality of the engine start, fuel system, and auto-throttle, as well as the interfaces with the avionics, electrical, and hydraulic systems. Scott Ernest, the president and CEO of Textron Aviation, said in part, "The engine run tests are one of the final major milestones as we prepare for the first flight. This step really allows us to prove the maturity of the aircraft and its systems. Following this, we will do a series of functional and instructional tests on the airframe in the preparation for the first flight." Cessna says the clean sheet design of the Longitude integrates the latest technology throughout the aircraft, bringing customers the lowest ownership costs in this category. Elon Musk has made good on his promise to memorialize the first recovery of a Falcon 9 booster by having the rocket placed on permanent display outside the company's California headquarters. The booster was placed upright outside the building over the weekend, according to a report in the Daily Breeze newspaper. The booster was recovered at Cape Canaveral on December 21, 2015, after delivering 11 satellites to orbit. It was the first time a booster had been recovered after an orbital insertion mission. The rocket was tested and found to be reusable, but Musk wanted to be sure that the historic rocket was not lost on a future mission. It now sits as a testament to the company's achievement outside the company's building near the Hawthorne Municipal Airport. After the break, FAA extends the controversial North Shore helicopter corridor.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartford Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartford Propeller.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
If you have a story suggestion for Airborne Unlimited, Aero-TV, our podcast, or website, just email to news-by@aero-news.net. The FAA has extended the life of the controversial North Shore helicopter corridor by 4 years, according to a final rule posted in the Federal Register. The final rule extends through August 6, 2020, the requirement for pilots of civil helicopters to use the North Shore helicopter route when transiting along the North Shore of Long Island. The FAA expects that 4 years will be sufficient time to consider results of the described research efforts in determining appropriate future actions on the rule. The FAA found that there is no justification for an environmental impact statement or other environmental analysis based on noise complaints. Newsday reports that some local lawmakers are urging residents upset with the extension to protest the decision. Several local elected and other officials held a town hall meeting with residents last week to discuss the situation. It's Friday at last, and that means it's time for ANN CEO and Editor-in-Chief Jim Campbell to check in with his weekly barnstorming commentary. We are pretty proud of what we do here at Aero-News Network, but that doesn't mean we are sitting on our laurels. Jim is here to talk about building on what ANN has already achieved, and he'll give you a peek into the future. Here's this week's barnstorming.
Thanks, Chris, and hi, folks. I had something else in mind for today's barnstorming, but the latest nonsense coming out of Santa Monica just galls me to the core. The city, of course, even after the FAA is found against them and the court system hasn't quite gone their way, has decided that nonetheless, after accepting federal dollars, after making a promise many decades ago that the airport would be there in perpetuity, well, none of that matters, and Santa Monica's word means nothing. But more important, they're turning it into an elitist fight. They're turning it into it's an us versus them, and them is the 1%, and a whole bunch of other nonsense. This is myopic idiocy on the part of the city. Airports not just for the so-called 1%, but for folks like me who either enjoy flying small aircraft and or also use them for business. Lots of business. And mind you, I've done a lot of business in Santa Monica. My Long Easy, my Mooney, and a number of other aircraft were in and out of there for quite a bit many years ago, and still frequented them up until last year. Airports really do mean business. They offer incredible utility. They bring in dollars and whole businesses who value their utility. They make a fraction of the local noise made by local motor vehicles, at least as how they affect people. Lawnmowers, an amazing variety of other motorized vehicles, whether it be leaf blowers or whatever the case may be. The total percentage of time that aircraft are in the air and the noise they make and the actual signature on individuals, well, it's minimal. Of course, it's most significant on those who decided to build a home next to an airport. What? If Santa Monica continues this nonsense, it will not only get none of my business in the future, but I'll make a strong recommendation via Aero-News and via every pulpit that I have, that many, 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 many thousands of people who frequent the aviation community find a way to not do business with Santa Monica. Don't buy gas there. Don't shop there. Don't use Santa Monica businesses. Let's make it have an effect. Avoid Santa Monica. Make sure they know that if they want to avoid the contribution that aviation's been making to them for decades, well, we'll be happy to make our contributions elsewhere. It's become ridiculous. But Santa Monica has been this government that's decided it's going to cater to these elitists who believe that aviation and aviators have no right to fly over or into Santa Monica. It's wrong. Yes, there has to be a balance to everything, but the aviation community, over a course of many years, contributed much to Santa Monica. And the way that Santa Monica is treating them in return is abysmal. It makes no sense. To me, it's anti-American, but then again, I'm an American aviator, so my opinion is weighed toward aviation. But ultimately this, Santa Monica is an airport. We have too few of them. We're losing them right, left, and forward. Yes, there's so-called 1%ers there, but those 1%ers spend a lot of money in Santa Monica. And why do you have a problem with that? Or more important, why do you have a problem with a guy like me who just wants to be able to stop by an airport restaurant, get some gas, may want to get some flight training, or just visit Santa Monica via GA? It's stupid, it's foolish, it's myopic. Oh yeah, it's Santa Monica. For the Aero-News Network, Airborne, and Aero-TV, I'm Jim Campbell, and from here on out, I'm avoiding Santa Monica. What about you?
After these messages, Connecticut fights to keep Marine One fleet maintenance in state.
Redbird Flight Simulations is dedicated to revolutionizing flight training by designing, manufacturing, and delivering affordable and innovative flight training technologies. Each Redbird device is designed to enhance the training experience for pilots of all levels, from student to ATP. Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip. With integral backup battery, safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
The aviation industry is full of news, and we're summarizing a few of those other great stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. Connecticut congressional leaders are asking the Navy not to shift maintenance of the Marine One presidential helicopter fleet from Connecticut to a Navy facility in Florida. They say Sikorsky is the only facility with the expertise and capability to reliably and safely maintain the Marine One fleet. The Intel Errol platform for unmanned aerial vehicles is now ready for purchase, pre-ordering. Designed from the ground up to support drones, the UAV developer kit is powered by an Intel Atom Quad processor. It will allow developers to launch sophisticated drone applications. The FAA has proposed a $54,000 penalty against Gordon Food Service of Wyoming, Michigan. The FAA alleges that in 2014, the company offered UPS a shipment of Fryer boil-out foaming tablets for air transportation. Tablets are made of corrosive sodium hydroxide. The F-35 Integrated Task Force at Edwards Air Force Base recently completed 25 missions comprised of 12 weapons delivery accuracy and 13 weapon separation tests in a 1 month. This was a record number of tests for a 1 month time frame. Coastal Helicopters is set to provide luxury VIP helicopter charter flights to the Burning Man 2016 event aboard its Sikorsky S-17-6 helicopter. This is a counterculture event in the middle of the desert that has now attracted clientele who want on-demand service. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Now, let's move on to the rest of the news. Aerosim Flight Academy has announced their Veteran Scholarship program. This program is designed to offer financial assistance to eligible veteran participants who may receive up to $10,000 toward tuition for the airline pilot track. With nearly 30 years of experience in aviation training, workforce development, resource management, and efficiency strategies, President and General Manager of Aerosim Flight Academy, Hank Coates, says he understands the unique needs and opportunities for veterans in today's workplace. Coates said, Aerosim Flight Academy stands ready to train, recruit, and prepare the next generation of professional pilots and strives to make a seamless transition for our valued veterans into the next stage of their career. Well, that's our program for today. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily Monday through Friday with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe, and do check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Keep flying. We'll see you next week.